along the way, women were handed a life script and told, follow this and you'll be happy. Go to school, they said. Get the degree, they said. Find the job. Get married. Buy the house. Have kids. Work hard. Be grateful. Don't complain. Just smile through the burnout. And then one day, you look around and you realize, wait a minute. I did what I was supposed to do. So why am I exhausted? Why am I underpaid? Why am I overstimulated? Why am I overwhelmed, emotionally drained, and secretly wondering if I even wanted this life in the first place? That is the conversation that we're having today because I don't think women are lazy. I don't think we're confused. I don't think that we're broken. I think a lot of us are waking up to the fact that the traditional life script is not working anymore. And honestly, for some of us, it never was, especially for me. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kiara Ivy, aka Kiara the Concrete Rose. And around here, we talk about lifestyle design, personal growth, independence, adulting, soft life strategy, and just building a life that actually feels like yours. And today, I want to talk about something that has been really sitting heavy on my spirit, and that is the traditional life script. You know the one, right? Like I said, go to school, get good grades, get the degree, get a respectable job, buy a house with a white picket fence, have 2.5 kids, work until retirement, be grateful, don't ask too many questions. And if you are tired, overwhelmed, unfulfilled, or just quietly losing your goddamn mind, well, apparently that's just adulthood, right? Abso-freaking-lutely not. I call bullshit, okay? I would like to return this whole entire script to sender immediately because more and more women are realizing that the life we were told to want does not automatically lead to peace. It doesn't lead to fulfillment or financial stability or even freedom. And I think that that realization is why so many women are opting out. They're slowing down. They're moving differently. They're choosing themselves, right? They're staying single longer. They're staying child free. They're moving abroad. They're changing careers. They're starting businesses in record numbers. They're prioritizing their rest. They are practicing self care more intentionally. And they're asking questions that our mothers and our grandmothers may not have had the freedom to ask or felt comfortable or safe to ask. They're asking questions like, do I actually want this? Or was I just taught to want this? And so because we live in the modern world, because I'm American and I have certain freedoms, I'm challenging the status quo. And I'm doing so with that privilege, right? I know my privilege and I know where it lies. And I'm here to state it plainly because I understand that some of what I'm going to talk about today may not feel easy or fully accessible to everyone that may stumble across this video. But I'm going to say it anyway because it's my truth, it's my perspective based on my experiences, my background, and the hand that I've been dealt in life. But the first problem with the traditional life script is that it was presented as safety, right? We were told if we followed the steps, life would work out. If you got the degree, you would get the job. If you got the job, you'd make enough money. If you made enough money, you'd buy the house with the white picket fence, right? If you bought the house, you'd be stable. If you got married, you'd be secure. If you have kids, you'd be fulfilled. If you worked hard, you'd be rewarded. But many of us, we followed those steps. We, as a unit, are still tired. We're still underpaid. We're still in debt. We're still unsupported. We're still overwhelmed. We're still questioning ourselves, trying to figure out why the math is not mathing, right? And that is where the anger comes in. Because it is one thing to struggle because you were reckless, right? Most people, if you're reckless, you understand that with that comes a struggle life, right? No one is out here debating that. But it's a whole nother thing to struggle after doing what everybody told you was responsible, doing what everybody told you you should do. That kind of struggle hits different because now you're not just tired, right? But you feel betrayed. You're feeling, you're looking around like, wait, I did the thing. Where is the peace? Where's the freedom? Where is the security? Where's the fulfillment? And that is when you realize that the traditional script was never a guarantee. It was merely a suggestion. And not always a good one at that, right? The second problem is that the traditional life script does not account for that modern reality. A lot of the advice that we inherited, it came from a completely different economy. It came from a different dating landscape, a different cost of living, a different job market, and in a different social structure. So people were giving us advice based on a world that does not exist in the same way anymore. Okay? The cost of housing is different. The cost of education is different. The cost of food is different. Healthcare is different. Dating is different. Job security is different. Marriage is even different. Retirement, community, all of it is different. So when someone says, just do what I did, the question is, can I? Can I actually do what you did under today's conditions? Because a lot of women are not rejecting tradition because they are rebellious for no reason, right? They are rejecting tradition because the numbers do not add up. The lifestyle does not feel sustainable. The emotional labor is too freaking expensive. And the reward is not guaranteed. So, no, women are not just being difficult, women are doing the math. And some of us are looking at the equation like, this is giving scam. It's giving scam likely. Okay. The third problem with the traditional life script is that women were taught to, we were taught to perform success, not necessarily define it, right? We were taught what success should look like from the outside, right? The degree, the title, the ring, the wedding, the house, baby shower, family photos, career changes and announcements, the I'm so blessed caption, right? And listen, there is nothing wrong with any of those things if you genuinely want them, right? And I truly believe that I am blessed despite how ghetto adulting is, despite the certain things that life has dealt me. I still truly believe that I'm blessed. But the problem is when we pursue these things without ever asking, does this actually fit me? Does it fit my personality, my passions, my purpose? Does this lifestyle support my peace? Does this relationship support my growth? Does this career support my value system, right? Does this version of success feel good inside my actual body? Because a life can look successful and still feel suffocating. A woman can have everything that she was told to want and still feel like she disappeared somewhere along the way. I've seen it so many times. I know I'm not the only one. And that's the part that we need to really talk about more honestly, because success is not what it's not what people can applaud, right? Success is how your life feels when nobody is watching. Success is being able to breathe in your own life. Success is being able to recognize yourself, right? Success is not having to betray yourself every day to maintain an image other people approve of. I rebuke that sentiment in the name of Jesus, okay? That is not success. That's performance. And a lot of women are tired of performing. The fourth problem is that the traditional script often turns women into support systems instead of whole people. Okay? Women are expected to be everything to everybody. We're supposed to be ambitious, but not intimidating. We're supposed to be successful, but not too independent. Nurturing, but not needy. Attractive, but not vain. We're supposed to be a wife, but we don't want to lose ourselves in that wifehood. We're supposed to be a mother, but we shouldn't complain about our kids. You know, work life and home life, there should be harmony between the two, balance, right? We're supposed to work like we don't have a family. We're supposed to care for our family like we don't have to work. We're supposed to stay fit, stay soft, be humble, stay available, stay grateful. Girl, I was writing this job description, y'all, because I have notes. I got questions, I got notes, I got feedback. A lot of women are exhausted because they are not just living their lives, they are managing everybody else's expectations of their lives. And at some point, that becomes too freaking heavy. This is why boundaries matter. This is why self awareness matters. This is why lifestyle design matters. You know, I call myself a lifestyle design strategist for a reason. I want to help women denounce all of this shit that has been bestowed upon them as the right way to do things and choose their own freaking path. Because if you do not consciously design your life, you will unconsciously become everybody else's assistant. And I don't know about you, but I was not put on this earth to be an unpaid emotional support department. Okay? I just wasn't. The Lord has bigger plans for my life. I don't know about y'all, but that's just me. And now, let me say this very clearly. Opting out of the traditional life script does not mean that you're opting out of responsibility. It does not mean that we're lazy or immature or that we hate marriage or hate kids. It doesn't mean that we don't want stability, right? It doesn't mean that we want to just float around through life with no pain or no plan, right? Sometimes opting out means that you are finally taking your life seriously enough to stop living it on autopilot. For some women, opting out looks like staying single until they find a relationship that actually adds peace and adds value to their life. For some women, it looks like being child free because they know motherhood is not their assignment. Hello. For some women, it looks like moving abroad because the cost of living in the US is just stressing their nervous system out. Hello again, me. So, for some of us, it looks like leaving corporate America. It looks like building a business, downsizing, choosing a quieter life. It looks like getting married and having children, but doing it in a way that does not erase who they are at their core, right? And the point is that every woman deserves the right to choose consciously. Every woman deserves the right to choose consciously. That is the point. That is the difference. We are not anti marriage or anti work. We are not anti family. We are anti self abandonment disguised as family values. That's what we are. We are not anti responsibility. We are anti living by default. Okay? So, what do we do instead? We create our own life design. And no, that does not mean that you need to have every single answer right now. It doesn't. It means that you start asking better questions, right? Instead of asking, what am I supposed to do? You ask, what kind of life am I trying to build? Instead of asking, what will people think? You're going to ask, can I live with the cost of betraying myself? Oof, that one hurt. Instead of asking, am I behind? Ask, am I aligned? Instead of asking, how do I make this look successful? Ask, how do I make this feel sustainable? Instead of asking, what is everyone else doing? Ask, what does my actual nervous system, my bank account, my personality, my purpose, and my peace require? That is lifestyle design. It's not just aesthetics. It is not just vision boards, even though I love a freaking good vision board, okay? I'm the queen of vision boards. But it's not just cute apartments and passport stamps. Lifestyle design is the practice of building a life around your values, your capacity, your desires, your responsibilities, your season, and your truth. And that is the grown woman work that we're here to do because it requires honesty, it requires courage, it requires letting some people misunderstand you. Because let me tell you something about people misunderstanding you. Some people are hell bent on it, and there's nothing that you can do to help them understand. They want to misunderstand you. It requires disappointing people who benefited from your lack of boundaries. It requires admitting that some things you once wanted were never really yours. But on the other side of that honesty is freedom, y'all. Not perfect freedom, not problem free freedom, but the freedom of knowing you are not sleepwalking through your own life. So, yes, I believe the traditional life script is truly not working for women anymore. Not because every traditional choice is bad. I don't believe that. And I'm not anti tradition. Marriage can be beautiful, motherhood can be beautiful, home ownership can be lovely, a stable career can be lovely, but only when those things and those choices are aligned, and only when they are chosen, and only when they fit the woman living them. The issue is not tradition. The issue is autopilot. The issue is pressure. The issue is shame. The issue is women being told that there is only one way to live a good life. And I am here to lovingly, respectfully, and firmly call BS because your life is not a checklist. Your life is not a performance. Your life is not a group project where everybody else gets a vote. Your life is yours. And you are allowed to question the script. You're allowed to rewrite it. You are allowed to want something different. You're allowed to build something unconventional. You are allowed to choose alignment over appearances. You are allowed to create a life that may not make sense to everybody else, but makes perfect sense to you. And that to me is the real soft life. Not luxury without responsibility, but freedom with intention. So I want to know, what part of the traditional script are you questioning right now? Is it marriage, motherhood, your career, home ownership, living in the US, working until retirement? I want you to drop it in the comments because I already know a lot of us are quietly asking the same questions. If this video resonated with you, like it, subscribe, stick around because we are going to keep talking about adulting, lifestyle design, singlehood, child-free living, soft life strategy, money, freedom, and just building a life that actually feels like yours. Because the script may have lied, but baby, we can rewrite it, okay? That shit is not set in stone. Have a good day, y'all. Bye.